We're about to make up a batch of whitewash or lime wash. It depends upon where you come from and which way you heard it. Now, if you go online and Google whitewash, you will find 150,000 formulas for whitewash. Basic whitewash is strictly water and lime. Okay, that's what you're looking at. But in this type of whitewash, we added a few more components. There was even a recipe that called for molasses to be put in. And it's like, will you spend a year's worth of food on your house is the question. But this whitewash actually is made up of lime that I actually got from MFA, 50-pound bags. Then you need crushed rock salt, because you're going to use this to keep the water and lime mixture actually liquid so you can paint it. And then after it's set, you're going to add about 6 to 8 12-ounce cups or 16-ounce cups of what they call glass or white sand. This sand is a mixture of shells and things like that. You could buy it in a store. The lime is about $3.50 for a 50-pound bag. The crushed rock salt was about $3, and then the white sand is actually about $3. And this will go a long way. You also want to make sure, because with lime is caustic, it's very acidy, it will hurt your skin if you're not careful. And so what you want to do is, when you're mixing this stuff, you actually want to wear gloves. You want to actually have a protective mask on at least when you're pouring the lime into the water, and you also want to wear goggles. Once the lime hits the water and you start stirring and there's no powder, you're pretty well safe. Okay. First thing you want to do is you want to take 12 pounds. You're going to make this formula for a 50-pound bag, but I've actually only used 25 pounds each time. So what you want to do is you want to take 12 pounds of salt and dilute it into 1.5 gallons of water, and you're going to stir it once in a while to make sure it's in the water and dilute it. You also then, for 5 gallon or for 25 pounds, you're going to use 2.5 gallons of water. If you're making 10 pounds, you use 5 gallons, and you dilute, you'll use the entire salt. Regular tap water is fine. People have called for distilled water because it lacks minerals. Well, I got news for you. The lime is calcium, and it doesn't matter if you use distilled water or not. Okay, so I'm going to use regular tap water. What you're going to do is pour 2.5 gallons of water into a 5-gallon bucket of empty bucket. Okay, so you're going to wear a mask. You've got 2.5 gallons of water in this bucket. You're going to wear a mask, okay, and make sure your face is covered. You want to wear goggles and your gloves. Now, this is 25 pounds of lime, okay? And then what you're going to do is just pour it into this bucket. You can see the smoke come up, or the vapors come up. You want to take a stick, and you just want to mix this, okay? So you're safe to take off your mask and that, because there's not going to be any more
powder or dust come off that. It's wet. But you want to mix it, and you'll feel it mixing in this water. You want to make sure everything's off the bottom. You want to mix it a couple times. And you can see the color. Yeah, it looks gray, but when it goes on and when it dries, it's going to be white. Okay. Now to keep it liquefied, or to a painting consistency, you're going to add to a 5-gallon bucket 25 gallons of lime, 2.5 gallons of water. You're going to add 6 pounds of salt, dilute in 1.5 gallon of water, or 1.25 gallons of water. And stir that around, and then what you're going to do is you could pour this mixture into the other bucket. And if you get whitewash on your clothes or anything, don't worry, it comes out with water. The only time it could be messy and it could be fun. And then you're going to stir the salt mixture in with the whitewash. You want to make sure it's stirred pretty good. So just do this for about a minute. That way you can make sure it's all together. Okay. And this is the part. You've got to let this sit at least 24, better to set 48 hours overnight. You're going to cover it with a piece of plastic, and you're going to let it set into what's called slack, okay? Which means it's going to thicken. It's going to come together and thicken a little bit. What you're going to have to do with the 5-gallon bucket is empty a little bit of this out of it in order to add about 6 to 8 cups of white sand. And that you do just before you start painting. And as you paint, what you're going to do, put on the whitewash, you've got to constantly stir that. You cannot let it sit. So you stir and you brush, you stir and you brush, and you stir and you brush. Okay, all the way down. So, and that's how you make whitewash. So we're going to let this sit 24 to 48 hours, and then we're going to show you how to apply it. Okay. This is what's going to happen when you whitewash this. Now, when you first put this on, it is going to go on like water. You're going to think, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. Just continue to coat until it's all wet. Then what you're going to do is step back, and the next morning, this is what you're going to have. And we're going to go across to the other side, and you'll see how white this looks from the other side. But this is your finished product whitewash. What you're doing is coating this house in rock. This is the first coat. There's going to be about 3 other coats that go on over a period of time for this to actually seal itself. And once it seals itself, it's going to get about this thick. So you're going to have less likely of the rain coming down and washing your whitewash off the building, having to do it again. So it's going to take a couple coats. Best guess is that over the period of time from 1790 when this house was built to about 1840 when they put the siding on, you probably had at least about 60 coats of whitewash on this building, and it has built up. So one coat. Now this here is the finished product, and you can see how white it looks from across the street. This is a 1 coat so far, and so far we're going to put on 2. The gray area you see below have just been finished up about an hour ago. By morning they will be white as white can be. So this is what we're going for, is this look. So when this is completed, the whole entire outside of the house will look like this.